this point of the video, where I planned out all this cinematic photography of my truck and getting it because we got all the way to California. And we're still in a hotel. But we'll get there. So, welcome guys, back to the channel. The day has finally come. I put it in the title. I didn't even play peekaboo with where we went. We are now a member, in a way, of Cook Trucking out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yeah, that's for you airborne trucker in the Minnesota. So how do we get here? Well, let's go over the story. And I've debated doing one video, two videos. We'll make this one video maybe a little long, and I apologize, so I'll stop rambling. I knew when I left trucking that I'd be back. I don't know why, just the way God made me. At this point in my life, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But, you know, it just, the timing wasn't right. I had to come off the road. My family needed me, and I was there. And we started a company, and I got experience, and I'm not going to rehash that. We've had all that. So I'm back in trucking, and I went to Cook. Why Cook? Well, it's actually a pretty long and easy story to go into. I knew it was time to get back into trucking. I was like, all right, well, we've got to figure out where we want to go. And if you remember, I told you about the windows. And so I have over a year of experience, so I could start looking at my windows. And I don't mind it, but when you run 48 states, you get what you get. And tell me how many truckers, if you're out there, how many of you have heard this statement? Well, that's just all we got. You get somewhere and this is the load we have available. And if you're not going to own your truck, which I'm not ready to do yet, and you're not going to have your own authority, and you're not going to be a Landstar somewhere booking your own loads, you still get told where you're supposed to go. Even as a lease operator when I was at Prime, they say, here's your loads. Now, here's your load. Maybe you get an option, maybe you don't, but you get told, kind of what your load is. And I didn't want to go back to that. So I said, all right, I want to be dedicated. That's definitely what I want. I want to be dedicated. I don't want to just run whatever, all 48 states. So let's look at dedicated. So let's talk TMC. You were Texas dedicated, Kev. That worked. And, it did work. But TMC, if you're going to be Texas dedicated, and my TMC guys know what I'm talking about, there's a little hole in the wall that we call the pits of hell that's Rotan. And you're going to run out of Rotan. And you're going to go to where it is dirty, it is hot, and I've seen the yard guy there specifically park trailers where it would screw with drivers and get attitudes if they said anything. And I said, you know what? For that reason alone, I can't go back to TMC. I can't go deal with Rotan. Sorry, not doing it. I have a choice now. I've got enough experience. This is my life. I need to enjoy this. We've had this conversation, right, guys? So I looked at reefer. Again, I had that discussion with you guys in a previous video. I just, 2 o'clock in the morning appointments and time crunches, and I was like, man, so there's just nothing out there for me. I was having a really hard time figuring out where to go because I have my list of demands. I know what I'm worth. I know my personality. I know what I bring to the table. I know what works and what doesn't work. And I was browsing the ads, and I saw an ad for Cook. And by the way, it's Koch. Call me what you want. Don't call me broke. But it's pronounced Cook. And they were hiring for a dispatcher in Dallas. And as you know, that's my background. I've been a fleet manager. I've been a dispatcher. I've been a load planner. And so I started looking at that. But the cubicle life, man, shoot me now, right? No, I want to go be a truck driver. I know that. I know that's what I want to go do. And so, but I get on their website and I'm fiddling around, look around, and I notice, wait a second. They have a specialized dedicated. So as I told you, Cook has boats. Obviously, they're dedicated to boats. They have something called super regional. It's kind of over the road, but they don't really run all 48, is what it was explained to me. They have a flatbed division. Again, their flatbed division hauls a dedicated for one customer, and then they backhaul whatever they can get. And then they had specialized van. What's this specialized van thing? And so I'm researching it. And basically, they haul for Polaris, Rangers, the side-by-sides. They built these specialty trailers. These are videos they have on their YouTube channel. I was like, well, that looks really cool. So you're going to tell me I'm going to pick up preloaded trailers, and I'm going to go to dealerships. Well, guess what? Polaris dealerships are typically Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, 9 to 5. So read into some more, and they're like, no, they basically give you your trailer, and they tell you, here's where you got to go. Figure out your route, and you schedule your appointments with these dealerships, and Guess what? There ain't nothing perfect. I have no fathomable idea that this is going to be perfect. But for what I wanted to do, I started thinking about, tarping. I don't want to do that, but I want some manual labor. You got to set up the ramps because you can't just yeehaw it. These things over out of the truck, you got to set up ramps, and you get paid for that. It's kind of like tarp pay. You get paid $50 when you set up the ramps. It takes about as long as it does the tarp. So that's tarp pay, my ramp pay. I'll get my swole on. So I said, man, I think I want to do that. But here's the thing. Cook is not Prime. It's not TMC. It's not a lot of these companies. They're not mom and pop by any stretch of the imagination. But they're not a huge fleet. I think they have somewhere around 1,000 trucks for all of their fleets. So it is a smaller company. So I got to experience big fleet, little fleet, small fleet. So hold on a second. Let's wait for these sirens to pass. We're in California. And just like that, they were gone. So, and I was like, man, this is a smaller company, but you know what? That could be exactly what I need. And so I called Cook and said, I'm in. And they said, we have one opening left in your area. Are you still in? It's like, absolutely. So the 28th of June, which would have been last week, I get my days mixed up, went to orientation. Now, they're out of Minneapolis, but they had a virtual orientation in Augusta, Georgia? Yeah, Augusta, Georgia, and Dallas. And so we did it virtually. And I knew I was in the right company when payroll comes to talk to us, day one, virtually. And payroll is run by the owner's daughter, the founder of the company, his daughter, who's been with the company 43 years when he started it out. She's head of payroll. And she's talking, and before she talks, she stops. She identifies each person by name who was a veteran and talks to, asks them what they did, asks questions where we served, what we were in, what we did, and thanks us personally. And man, you just don't get that at the big companies. You just don't get that kind of personal attention from the owner's daughter. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, this is going to be good. This is where I belong. And so I went to orientation Monday and Tuesday, 2 days, basic orientation, did my drug test, got my card, got my t-shirts. Ta-da, Cook. And then Wednesday I went and did ramp training because, again, everything's specialized. So I got to do my ramps. And I did my ramp training. And they said, all right, you're done. But you got to remember, this is a small company. And they said, hey, 4th of July, we're going to screw everything up because your truck, my friend, is in California. Now you see why it comes to California. Because remember, this is a smaller company. So what that means is they don't just have terminals everywhere with 50 trucks sitting. You kind of got to go where the truck gets turned in. And that leads us to where we are today. They're like, hey, your truck's in California. Do you mind flying? I'm like, you're paying for it. I don't care where you send me. I'll go where you pay. And so they flew me out here. I got out here to California, and I got totally screwed by a driver and by one of the businesses out here. And I won't even say it's necessarily the business's fault. In fact, I won't say it's the business fault out here. But I got to the truck, and I saw it, and I was like, oh my God. And I'm not putting any pictures of it. And I won't put you any pictures till I get done, spend the next 3 weeks scrubbing this thing. But trash on the inside. Fairing damage where he hit the trailer. Bumper damage where he hit something yellow. Messed it up. Driver's side mirror's like hanging off, missing a bracket. Come to find out, Cook had been told that was fixed, and it wasn't. But you got to remember, I'm dealing with a smaller company. They can't be everywhere. Again, these trucks may not see a terminal. They get their oil changes done at TA. They're not constantly, especially when I gather this one here in California, they're not constantly micromanaged. And so they don't necessarily know. So my truck is in the shop. 3 for 3 on trucks in the shop. But I didn't even get a run. So they spent all day, and parts are on a national shortage. Trucks are on a national shortage. I saw a thing in the dealership. They're not doing oil changes on 2021s because they can't get the filter. But hopefully tomorrow, issues develop from the truck sitting, but I'll get in it. They've actually already got my load plan to get me home. I'm picking up a load of club cars, not awesome UTVs, but golf carts out of California. Going to take them to Houston, and then I'll be back in my operating area. So we are a small company that has been absolutely awesome. They They set up my Lyft and Uber rides back and forth from the hotel. They paid for the hotel. They paid for the plane ticket. They've already told me they're going to reimburse me. I had to buy, like, the fire extinguisher was missing from the truck. They buy it, we'll reimburse you. So I'll get everything back that I ever did. And we'll move on. And just like at TMC and just like at Prime, it's just a little speed bump. It cost me a day. But that's where I'm at, gentlemen and ladies. I say gentlemen and ladies. I say ladies even since my viewing audience is like 100% male. And by the way, 77 of you aren't subscribed. Just saying. But our spirits are good. I'm so freaking stoked. I mean, I saw my truck. I'm just like this much closer. It just won't let me have it. But we'll get it, and we'll get rolling, and we're happy. So if you got any questions about Cook, I'll answer what I can. Like I said, it's the first time I've ever had a recruiter I didn't want to strangle. Like I said, they offered to pay for my cleaning supplies and to pay me to clean the truck. I'm not going to take that. I mean, you got to buy cleaning supplies anyway, and you're supposed to keep your truck clean. But, you know, TMZ, you think about, you know, the way they do the cleaning for services so they can keep up with their trucks. Smaller company, you get a little more freedom, but you get the chance for another driver to mess you over. But it is what it is. So once we get everything rocking and rolling, get the truck back, we'll get some more videos. But, yep, we're back. Expect some good content, and I'm hoping I can make it. So there it is. Suspense over. God bless, and let's get rolling.